Welcome to our today's class. In our today's class, we'll be looking at the adrenal gland. If you haven't watched my video on the pituitary gland, I will advise you do so because of its connection with this topic. So, the adrenal gland is also one of the major endocrine glands in the human body. This gland is situated at the superior pole of each kidney. So, if this is a kidney, at the superior pole of each kidney, we have this bilateral gland. We have a left adrenal gland and a right adrenal gland. So, if this is a kidney, above each kidney, we have what? We have adrenal gland. So the left adrenal gland will be here, while the right adrenal gland will be here. So each of the adrenal gland is surrounded by a fibrous tissue called a capsule. Surrounded by a capsule. Each adrenal gland is divided into two main parts. So we have the cortex. We have the adrenal cortex. This is the adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex. Why this is the adrenal medulla. Why this is the adrenal medulla. Why this is the adrenal medulla. So the adrenal cortex and the adrenal medulla originate from different parts of the human body. The adrenal cortex, for instance, originates from the mesonephros or the mesonephric tissue that give rise to the urinary structures. So while the adrenal medulla originates from neural crests that give rise to the nervous structures, to the nervous tissue. The hormones of the adrenal cortex are different from the hormones of the adrenal medulla. So let's dig deep into the adrenal cortex. If you take a microscopic view of the adrenal cortex, you observe that the adrenal cortex is composed of three layers of tissue. The adrenal cortex is composed of three layers of tissue. So we have the zona glomerulosa. We have the zona glomerulosa. We have the zona fasciculata and the zona reticularis. The zona reticularis. So these are the three layers of tissues that form the adrenal cortex. So the hormones produced by the zona glomerulosa, which is the outer layer of the adrenal cortex, is different from the hormone that is produced by the middle layer of the adrenal cortex, which is called the zona fasciculata. While the hormone produced by the zona fasciculata is different from the hormone produced by the inner layer of the adrenal cortex called the zona reticularis. Now, the zona reticularis produce a group of hormones known as mineralocorticoids. Mineralocorticoids. So these mineralocorticoids are such as aldosterone and deoxycorticosterone. While the zona fasciculata produce a group of hormones known as glucocorticoids, which include cortisol, cortisone, and corticosterone. While the zona reticularis produce a group of hormones known as corticoids, or sex hormones, or they can also be called sex hormones, such as testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. So these are the hormones produced by the various layers of the adrenal cortex. Why do we call the group of hormones produced by the zonal glomerulosa mineralocorticoids? They are called mineralocorticoids because they regulate electrolyte level. They act on electrolytes such as sodium, such as potassium primarily. Why the hormones of the zonal fasciculators are called glucocorticoid because they play a role in the metabolism, in the breakdown of glucose in the human body. Why the hormones of the zonal reticularis are called gonadocorticoids because they act on the gonads, which are the testes or the what? Or the ovaries. So I will say that what are the functions of some of these hormones? Aldosterone is the primary hormone of the zonal glomerulosa, and it is called the life-saving hormone. Why? Because it regulates electrolytes and even water level in the human body, which is essential to existence. So there are three primary functions of aldosterone. One, it increases the reabsorption of sodium from the kidney tubules into the bloodstream. Secondly, it increases the excretions of potassium from the bloodstream through the what? Through the renal tubules. So as sodium are reabsorbed into the bloodstream, potassium in turn are secreted into the kidney tubules and finally excreted in the what? In the urine. And the third functions of the aldosterone is that it increases the secretions of hydrogen ions into the what? Into the kidney tubules. So as sodium is reabsorbed into the bloodstream from the kidney tubule, hydrogen ions in turn are secreted from the bloodstream into the kidney tubules to be excreted in urine. So by doing so, acid-base levels are well regulated in the human body. So in a nutshell, the aldosterone primarily regulates electrolyte level in the human body. Why the primary hormones of the zonal glomerulosa is what? Is cortisol, because cortisol and corticosterones are usually converted to cortisol. And cortisol, being the primary hormone, is also called a life-protecting hormone. Why do we call the cortisol life-protecting hormone? It's called the life-protecting hormone because it protects the body from stress. It helps the body to withstand stress and trauma. It also has an anti-inflammatory effect. It's a kind of it prevents inflammations when somebody is under attack by a microbe. And cortisol equally play a role in the metabolism of carbohydrate, protein, and even lipids. Why the hormones produced by the zonal reticularis are usually produced in small quantity? Because they are produced in small quantity, their effect is physiologically insignificant. It's in abnormal cases where they are produced in high quantity that they elicit effect that is not compatible with human development. So I will say that let's quickly look at the hormones produced by the adrenal medulla. Produced by the adrenal medulla. So the adrenal medulla constitutes 20% of the mass of the adrenal gland. So 20% of the adrenal gland is made up of what? The adrenal medulla, while 80% constitutes the adrenal cortex. So it's just a small portion of the adrenal gland that is called the adrenal medulla. Now, the adrenal medulla is composed of chromaffin cells. And these chromaffin cells produce a group of hormones called catecholamines. Produce a group of hormones called catecholamines. These hormones called catecholamines include epinephrine, which is also known as adrenaline, norepinephrine, which is also known as noradrenaline, and finally dopamine. So these are the catecholamines, or the hormones produced by the chromaffin cells of the adrenal medulla. And these hormones have three very important effects. One, they have nervous effects. Two, they have cardiovascular effects. Three, they have metabolic effects. So these hormones, most especially the epinephrine and norepinephrine, stimulate the nervous system. So by stimulating the nervous system, they prepare the body for action during what? Stress or emergency. Hence, we call epinephrine and norepinephrine fight and flight hormone, because they have ability to prepare the body for an emergency response, for a quick response. They put the body in a state of alertness. Why these three hormones also have effect on the cardiovascular system. The epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine, they increase what? Heart rate. They don't only increase heart rate, they also increase blood pressure. And finally, the epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine also have effect on metabolism. They increase blood glucose level. So during emergency or during sympathetic activity, the blood glucose level is increased to supply more glucose to the body tissues to be able to take action as when needed. So I would say that what is the arterial supply and the venous drainage of this important structure? The arterial supply of the adrenal gland. Arterial supply. So the gland is supplied by superior, middle, and inferior suprarenal arteries. And the venous drainage is simply superior and inferior suprarenal veins. Superior and inferior suprarenal veins. So these are the blood supply. The superior, middle, and inferior suprarenal artery carry oxygenated blood from the heart to the organ, while superior and inferior suprarenal vein carry the oxygenated blood to the heart. So I will say that what are the clinical correlates of these glands? Clinical correlates. Cushing syndrome. Currently we have Addison disease. So this clinical condition associated with the adrenal gland. So in Cushing syndrome, it's a clinical condition whereby there's hypersecretions of glucocorticoid, which is what? Cortisol. When there's hypersecretion of cortisol, it results to this condition called Cushing syndrome. So this Cushing syndrome is characterized by a moon face, a swelling in the face and even in the neck. It also results to what? Increased blood pressure, increased glucose level, what we call hyperglycemia, and it can also result to what? Weight gain. So these are some of the symptoms associated with what? Cushing's syndrome. Why Addison disease occur as a result of damage to the adrenal cortex, resulting in hyposecretions of aldosterone and even cortisol. So when there's hyposecretions of aldosterone and cortisol, it results in what? Addison disease. And an individual with Addison disease usually suffer from what? Salt craving. The person craves for salt because of what? Uh, because of imbalance, electrolyte imbalance. The individual also experience alopecia, the hair loss. Hair loss is found in this individual, and the individual also have hyperpigmentations of the skin. So these are some of the conditions associated with the adrenal gland, Cushing syndrome and what? Addison disease. So this is how far we'll be going with the adrenal gland. I am Simon, your anatomy educator. I look forward to seeing you in my next class. Remember to subscribe and share the video.